Make sure we're live. Cool, we are live. Awesome. I am with my client, Craig Rentz. I'm super excited. We're actually doing an update video. We are talking about his massive transformation. The screen that you see in front of you is actually proof of him logging his weight. I wanted to show you guys this. We'll take this off the screen here in a second, kind of get into a story. But I just want to show you this massive transformation. While I'm doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and tag him in this. But Craig, thank you so much for coming, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Justin.
Yeah, so today we're talking about, dude, your epic transformation. 114 pounds down in 8 months.
Let's go. We did it.
Let's freaking go. So I'm trying to stall as I tag you, but we'll just get into it. Hopefully it'll start working. So this photo, as you can see, I want to show proof here, and then we'll get into your story and kind of go through like what you were going through before starting the program, kind of what your results have been. So as you guys can see real quick, if my computer will, there you go. So September 1st is when he started working with me. That was about 8 months ago as of May 1st, which is tomorrow, I believe. Right, tomorrow? Or maybe it's Sunday. But anyway, so 8 months, so 435 pounds. And Craig, you were at, what was your starting weight?
435.
430. And so before like you start, like, what is that noise? Before you started in general, your weight loss journey, what was the top end you got to?
My highest was 538.
Gotcha, 538. So that's over 200 pounds drop, which is incredible. So starting with me, 435 pounds, and you are now down to, as you can see here, this is how weight loss should look like, down to, as of today, 321 pounds, which is 114 pounds drop. Freaking amazing.
That's right.
Let's go, man. So what I want to do is I'm going to stop sharing this. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, man, kind of tell everyone who you are, what you do, and where you're from, and then we'll kind of get into your story.
Yeah, my name's Craig Rentz. I'm 46. I live in Denver. I'm an entrepreneur. I work in real estate, and work in private market real estate, off-market investment properties. And I have been doing that for years. I had some health challenges and some personal life challenges that ended me in the hospital with a number of big problems, heart problems, weight problems, blood pressure, everything kind of crashed at once. And it was kind of shortly after that I met Justin.
Yeah, man. So tell me, what was kind of like, you obviously you had a lot of health issues going through. What was the hardest part for you, if you don't mind sharing? Like, what was really, obviously going through that is not fun, but what was like the impact it was having on your life, or what was kind of like the hardest part for, obviously you're a driven man, you're looking to, like a lot of the guys that were wealthy by looking to make money and make an impact and all these things. And so you're at the point now where your health is starting to fall apart. What was that doing to you?
Yeah, I kind of lost everything. I mean, I had lost my marriage at the time. I lost a business. I lost, with my weight gain, I actually was in a position where I wasn't able to walk very well. I lost my ability to walk, get around. In and out of the car was a challenge. I mean, it was rough. It was dark. It affected me, not just physically, but that type of situation makes you depressed and anxious about the future and kind of messes with your ability to have hope.
Yeah, totally. And I was just made a live video before you, and I kind of want to touch on this. Maybe this is fresh in my mind. A lot of people, when they're going through that kind of dark feeling, like a lot of depression and not having hope, it's a very common feeling. I just did a whole video on it, and I'm really passionate about it, because in my opinion, it's there for a reason. But so a lot of times when we feel this, though, it leads us down even darker spaces, and it kind of leads to a lot of coping mechanisms. For you, I just want to ask, I think a lot of people will just resonate with where you're at in your story. What was kind of for you? Did you have any kind of coping mechanisms, or what was kind of your go-to as you're kind of going through that journey, if you don't mind me asking?
On the dark side, like what was contributing to it, and what were my coping mechanisms that led to my downfall? Yeah, food. So at the time I had a courier business, and I was spending a lot of time doing a lot of miles in the car, and I was making good money. It was a high profile situation. It was good, but I was eating a lot, and I was drinking coffee and energy drinks with sugar and just to keep moving. and keep motivated. And I was up early in the morning, so I wasn't getting a lot of exercise. I was in the car, sitting, eating, listening to podcasts all day while I was putting miles on. And it caught up with me. I mean, above and beyond that, I kind of got antisocial because I was embarrassed. And I have two beautiful teenage daughters that I was kind of almost embarrassed to like show up at events because I didn't have clothes that fit. I was fat. I looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I knew it. So.
Yeah, and I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing. Again, I ask this because I think a lot of people will resonate. And I do have one more question, then we'll kind of get into your results. And I think, again, this is something I think a lot of people really resonate with is, a lot of times we do these, especially with food, we do them for a reason because a lot of times it feels good. So I want to ask you, for you, Craig, like, you were resorting towards food. What was the positive impact? Like in the moment, obviously, like a short term kind of release. What was it kind of doing for you in that moment where it's just like, you know what, going through all this, I'm just going to eat. And like, what was the kind of in the moment, like how was it kind of positively impacting you? Not for the long term, but almost like you need to do it in that moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a quick fix. It's a dopamine hit when you're feeling down to put.
Oh, you're muted.
It's a dopamine hit to grub like that and to stay high on sugar and caffeine all day.
Yeah.
And so you definitely get, the short-term benefit, if you can call it that. But,
yeah.
That's what you're asking me, right?
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. It's the reason I asked you is, though, I think a lot of people that I know a lot of people that I talk to, there are a lot of real estate agents and investors, entrepreneurs. We go towards a lot of the, the caffeine, the sugar, the food, because it's quick. And it's like we have this kind of facade that is what's going to help us, reach our long-term goals, which is to build the business and to be able to provide and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like so you can only keep that up for so long. And I think that you're a great example of like it catches up to you. So I want to ask you before we move on to results, like what was the kind of, obviously you kind of went into a little bit of the long-term impact of you're doing that, you're making these changes. What's obviously the long-term impact is gaining weight, but anything else you want to share before we kind of get into results there?
Yeah, the downside, I mean, gaining the weight and losing my ability to function on a daily basis. I mean, It sounds ridiculous, but when you're that heavy, things like taking your dog out for a walk and picking up after him are a challenge, or putting socks on or tying my shoes. So I had to adapt to, use a tool to put socks on and only wear slip-on shoes, things like that. And you don't think about how tough that is, but when you're in that spot and you have to make those decisions, it just adds to the challenges. And you might not think about it. I mean, oh yeah, I was heavy, but there's a whole number of things that go along with, creating challenges in your daily life that I'm really happy to be done with.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful that you invested in this program and that you invested in yourself, man. It's been an honor just to see the massive action you've taken, for one, but also just the shifts that you're making. It's inspiring, honestly. That's why I was so excited to get you on this call again.
Yeah, thank you for everything.
Yeah, man. And so you obviously invested, joined the program. Before you joined, I know you're at a tipping point. Like there was you obviously joined because you had lost weight, of course, but you're still in a place where, if you want to kind of fill everyone in, kind of where was your head at before you decided to make the leap to join Wealthy Body?
Yeah, I was stalled out with the habits that I had at the time weren't allowing me to lose any more weight. So I knew I was stuck, and I was at a crossroads. I was actually contemplating bariatric surgery to get my stomach shrunk, and it kind of hit me that that's a very extreme thing to do. And if I were to be able to, change my habits, and I kind of saw like the opportunity, like, well, I want to do this naturally, but I don't know how. And so that's enter Justin, right? Yeah. I was on the fence about getting this surgery, and I had a meeting coming up, and that week I had talked to you, and we had been in touch, and it just was a real decision point for me about whether I was going to do it myself or whether I was going to rely on surgery. And I think looking back, I'm probably losing weight as fast or faster and probably healthier in the long run than I would have if I had gone that route.
Yep. 100%. And we'll get into all the tools and the mindsets and everything that you've gained along the way. It's like it's like the lottery example. They've actually shown in research that people that win the lottery, they ended up wishing that they never won it in the first place, because if you're given money, you don't know what to do with it. It's the same thing if you're given a shortcut to lose weight. It's like you didn't actually change, you didn't do the inner work, your body just shrunk, and now it's like, I'm just going to go back to where I was before, which I think is a big component of all this.
Right.
Awesome, man. So for you, you made the shift. You decided to join the program. Let's talk about. I guess your journey starting. Like, what was any kind of doubts, any kind of like challenges you had in the beginning as you got started? Like, we could always talk about all the good stuff, and that's great. But like, going into this, did you have any kind of doubts or like any worries or like, obviously you're making a big jump. You're invested in a coaching program. You're about to shift your lifestyle. What was coming up for you at that point?
Yeah, first of all, who is this guy, right? I mean, I had to Google you and research who you were and look at some of your social media and what you're up to, and I was able to get answers to my initial questions about who you were, and that was good. And I then kind of started looking at what are you going to have me doing, and learning about through the links that you sent and the trainings about what it would look like, and I got a picture for that. And one of the first things that I had to do was purge my cabinets and fridge and my entire house of anything that didn't fit into our plan, and that was a big stretch point for me to I kind of I don't know. I like to have my stash, and I didn't have any stash, and so I had to kind of relearn and relearn how to shop and what I'm eating, and not only changing my diet, but then changing everything that's in the house to reflect that, and then we started getting into other things like sleep habits, and do I filter my water, and what supplements am I taking, and what medicines am I on, and getting into the details of those things as we progressed. And I was happy to kind of make those moves and learn progressively, both from you and from the other guys in the group that are making big jumps.
Yeah. I love it. And for some people watching this, they might think, oh my God, that's extreme. Like, I don't want to do that. It's a big jump. And it can be extreme, but I want to ask you, because the way I see it is, as you know, Craig, I'm big on the dream and creating a dream and then aligning your identity with that dream. And so I want to ask you, we talk about strategy all day, but like, I think mindset, I'm sure you would agree, mindset's been a big part of this. And so like, what have been kind of your biggest, you obviously had a certain mindset before the program, and then once you went through it, I'm sure there are a lot of shifts mentally that happened. For you, if you want to just kind of talk about some of the mindset shifts that have changed for you since you started?
Sure. I would say the biggest is the value of delayed gratification. I'm looking back at my journey now, and the win is worth every bit of sacrifice. And looking back, I can see that the small challenges, the decisions every day. And my mindset has kind of switched now to being so aware of the end game that the short-term decisions have become easy. It's easy for me to walk past a donut now because I've seen the changes, so that's a big mindset shift. I'd say another big mindset shift that I've had in this program is being able to sort of have a brotherhood with all these other highly performing guys that are after the same goals, and the the accountability that I feel like I've had. That's a mind shift of feeling like, all right, every week when we get together, I have to share 3 wins, and I look forward every week to like making those wins just so I can share them and kind of show off a little bit and get encouragement from these guys.
Yeah, and it's okay to show off, and it's okay to get support. Like, I think a lot of men are lone wolves, and they don't want to talk about their wins. They also don't want to like say like they need help. And I think that's from what I've seen with you and a lot of the guys in the program, it's like it's okay to like sometimes we just need that support, that extra boost in this journey.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. And then food as well. Obviously, is a big shift for you, right? We obviously changed the way you're eating. Have your mindset towards food changed at all?
Yeah, I see different things as being desirable now. I mean, I have a very extreme diet that I'm following, and it's pretty restrictive. So I've really had to like work on enjoying the things that I do have access to, and that mindset of seeing what's good for me and what's not good for me.
Totally.
It's almost like I see one of those like red circles with the line through it when I look at something that's not on my list,
Yeah, totally. The beautiful part about what the direction you're going is obviously we had some extreme results that we were looking to get, and the big thing I think for you is 2 things. Number one is we're gonna, as this is the overview for you, is that we're gonna start incorporating more foods back in as we go, and then also it's like your energy. Like let's talk about your results now. Like obviously you've lost 114 pounds in the past 8 months. Let's talk about your weight loss, and also like how do you feel like from when you started compared to how you feel now? Because I think it's like, again, people might hear like it's extreme, get scared, but then it's like I'm big on the ROI. Like what is the investment you're getting on what you're putting in? So let's talk about what has been your ROI, and you could talk physical, mental, financial. Like what would you say has been your ROI from putting this work in?
Sure. Yeah, the investment has been financial. It's been kind of blood, sweat, and tears investment in myself as well. And, the return on that has been, it's easy to talk about the weight loss, but those challenges that I talked about earlier, not being able to pick up after my dog or tie my shoes, now I'm doing yoga every day. I'm walking 30 minutes barefoot in the grass. I'm off my CPAP. I sleep well. I go to sleep when the sun goes down, and I get up before the sun comes up. I'm tuned into, the sun pattern in my life. I've got energy, even though I'm not eating like most people think you need to eat 3 meals a day. I've reduced my medications, which have reduced side effects and just bringing my blood work back to normal. So, that's the ROI on the daily investment of just making a lot of small decisions correctly over and over and over.
Love it, man. I love it. Last question for you, and then we'll get wrapped up again. I'm so appreciative, and I'm just excited that you have seen these results. For someone watching, like, the simple question is it worth it? But the more complex question is, like, again, someone's watching this and they're on the fence, and they're, maybe they're like, I don't know if I want to make this change. Like, this sounds scary. Like, I don't want to give up my comfort. I don't want to give up, my comfort food. I don't want to, I don't want to get off the chair. I don't want to make this change. And what kind of advice? But at the same time, they know they need to, and there's a part of them that is also ready. Is it worth it, and what kind of advice would you have for something like that? Maybe, again, so you've gone through this program longer since we last talked. You're 70 pounds lighter from the last video or whatever, 60 pounds later. What advice do you have for that person and anyone else that's listening right now?
Yeah, very simple. As a quote that rings in my head, is that everything that you want is on the other side of comfort. So if you can get out of your comfort zone little by little, or a lot, but little by little, those things that you're after will start coming to you, like weight loss and reducing medicine and feeling better and sleeping better and all the things that I mentioned earlier.
Love it, man. Love it. I just want to wrap this up by saying I want to honor you, Craig, and just say you've been one of the. It's been very inspiring to see how for anyone watching this that is looking to make this change. It's not easy, right? This is losing over 100 pounds, 200 pounds in total. This isn't an easy journey. So what got you there was hard, right? It wasn't feel hard, but it was. You're really kind of turning against yourself. And for you were in a place where it's I have guys who lose 20, 30 pounds, and it's no matter what, it's a shift in your identity. But for you, it's been a massive shift. And so I just want to say, for you, man, taking the action, that's if I could say anything from what I've gotten out of you is just no matter good or the bad, just consistent action is what I'd say for you has been the most admirable thing that you've done. Is every single day you show up no matter what because you have that bigger purpose in mind, which I think is incredible.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming to this call, Craig. I'm sure we'll be doing another one of these. I'm super excited. Well, what's the next goal for you? So you want to put that out?
300 by the end of June. So I have 8 weeks.
Let's go.
Lose awesome, 21 pounds.
Let's go.
And then I'm excited for the retreat coming up.
Yep. Pumped to see you there. If anyone is interested in coaching, wealthybodyacademy.com. If you're interested in coming to the upcoming retreat, I think we have 7 spots left. So wealthybodyretreat.com. Shoot me a message. If you have any questions for me or Craig, Craig's always open to answering as well as me. So if you want to shoot them down in the comments, shoot him a message, shoot me a message, feel free. And man, I'm just so pumped to see it. I just can see Craig in the next year. It's gonna be your picture. You're gonna be this ripped guy. It's gonna be freaking amazing.
Yeah. I got my shirt on for now, but
yeah. Next call we'll both go shirtless. That cool?
All right, sign me up.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate your time, brother.
Thanks, Justin.
All right, bye.
Bye.